All right, we got to start with the story and the engine, and I don't think any of us are qualified to talk about that.
You're listening to a mostly harmless cutaway.
Mostly harmless. Mostly harmless? Oh, come. I think that's pretty good coverage for this integrated pile of rubble.
Hi, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
This is Sean.
And welcome back. It is mostly harmless Cutaway. Episode 189 for those keeping track.
You know what? You can actually do a thing where you can get the reverb there and not have to do it with your own voice there.
Is that a fact?
That's a thing.
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we will discuss the latest episode of Season 2 of Doctor Who.
Fear her. Fear her.
Absolutely fear her. Not a bad episode, fear her. But instead, we present the story and the engine.
Yep. That's the story. And so thanks for listening.
Have you guys ever heard of the concept of a story engine before?
I don't know. Not off the top of my head, no.
Like they talk about them, there's getting really into solo RPG games right now. And
Solo RPGs. Okay.
yeah, and there's something called a story deck because of what I've been doing. It's been flashing up at me in Facebook, and a story engine is it's called a story engine deck because as you draw cards randomly, they create a story. So the deck of cards acts like a deck, which is exactly what this is.
Okay, I get it. So it's like D&D for people who have no friends.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but okay.
No, when you describe story engine the way you did, yeah, it sounds like video game parlance, like a game engine. Mm-hmm. So I think, okay, that makes sense. I know what a game engine is, and that kind of sounds like the equivalent for creating a story.
This would have been a great video game, actually. Not sure.
You mean the part where you get to cut the hair? I could see that. The motion controls.
Yeah, and the hair coming back. It's great.
Well, actually, I think there was a Play-Doh set when I was growing up that was something like that, where you squish the Play-Doh in and it comes out as hair on the guy's head, and then you can cut it and style it.
I had that. Yeah.
Of course you did.
I had that. Yeah. I couldn't have Play-Doh products because I always ate the Play-Doh.
God, you beat me to the punchline. Well, especially it has that slightly salty taste.
Oh my, just stop.
It's not.
I've got the cancel button right here.
It's not slightly salty.
Oh my God.
So, did you guys like this episode?
Yeah, it's a 3 out of 5.
Thanks for listening. Good night.
I know, now the show's really over.
We're going to forget about it in about, when's the last episode? About 2 weeks. Wait, today's Friday. 1 week, week and a half.
A week and a day.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, it does look really good. The acting was really interesting.
That's a word for it, yeah.
No, I'm trying to remember if anybody was bad in it. And I don't think anybody was.
Were you happy for the return of a certain baby?
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, fuck that shit.
I'm telling you right now, like Sean's general nightmare of this Doctor Who series, both seasons, is that the space babies actually mean something. And
yes, you're absolutely right.
And it's important. It's actually really important.
And her name is Poppy, and Poppy's come up in the next story. Everybody knows it. But, I mean, unless you think of this... the guy who played the barber, really good actor, and I had to look him up because I recognized him. And have you guys ever seen a show called Carnival Row? It's on Amazon.
No.
Oh.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Oh, I watched some of the first episode. Or I don't even know, but I'm aware of it.
Josh is like, oh, please. Shows on Amazon? Call the gods.
Actually, I do watch Leverage Redemption. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh only watched Transparent, but once it got canceled, he was done with that platform.
I don't even know what that is. So that shows,
it was like
that shows how
their first like critically acclaimed show until Tabor got canceled in real life, and then they sort of had to cancel the show.
You know what? If there's a Red Sox game, I'm in there. So like that's it.
I'm sure those will be streaming live on Prime soon.
Oh, certainly football does. Anyway, Sean, go on.
I don't remember what I was talking about. Where was I?
The actor who played the barber.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was in this show Carnival Row, which is basically set. I think they're in sort of like an alternative London, and folklore like fairies and pixies and ogres and goatmen exist. And there's caste in the society, and Orlando Bloom plays like a policeman, and he has to go and solve cases. And of course there's castes, and one of them is a species that has horns and is generally not regarded well. But this gentleman,
That's the next episode.
yes, but this gentleman, he ends up having an affair with this human woman, and he's played by this actor very well in that episode. And it was bizarre how I made that connection when I was watching the next episode.
You know what's bizarre is that probably while RTD was trying to figure out ideas and stuff like that, or whatever, I know that somebody else wrote this, or I don't remember the guy's name, but that he was probably watching Amazon Prime at the time. Like that's what it kind of I figure is that he's had to have taken stories or ideas from others at this point. It's just anyway, never mind.
You never know. You know what?
It feels very much like that, doesn't it?
It looks like the actor, because he looks so familiar to me too, but I don't know where I saw him from. But looking at his IMDb, it looks like he did a BBC Doctor Who audio adventure.
A BBC one or a Big Finish?
Looks like BBC branded.
Oh, that's interesting, because I don't think BBC has done one since Scream of the Shulka.
But this is from 2022, and it's called Doctor Who Peladon.
Really?
He did a voice. Yeah, he did a voice.
You sure it's not Big Finish?
The poster cover art has BBC on it.
Peladon. Maybe he was Black Alpha Centauri. What would that sound like?
He was Black Nigerian Alpha Centauri. No, he played Father Men. Oh man, I lost the page.
And we've lost like 12 audience members.
Yeah, really, just like that. I didn't
even know there were BBC audios.
I could hear them pushing pause and moving on.
Father Mendika.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah, I don't know where I recognize him from. He's just super. Like, he looks like someone I saw like in a Disney Marvel series or something. But no, he's fantastic. I actually like this episode. If you remember the last two stories we discussed, definitely not my fave since RTD's return. This one, for me, was just nice. I wasn't blown away or anything like that, but it was kind of what I was hoping for, what I expected, as I said a week or two ago. Obviously Doctor Who is an anthology-like show. Things can be wildly different, and this was different, and it wasn't just different from the previous two. It was one of those episodes that just feels very uniquely different all the way around, and we've had some of these over the years since 2005, and I just thought it was good execution. This one, I was actually semi-involved, interested, and I liked the animated graphics of the stories being on the wall.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was somewhat of a quasi-bottle episode, and I kind of like that in Doctor Who and in other sci-fi series in general. Everyone was great. At first I was worried just when I just glanced at the teaser the week prior to this episode coming out, and I had a feeling it was going to be something like that Indian Pakistan story from the Chibnall era.
Yes, yeah.
Which I'm not saying that that's bad, but it's that episode, the one that took place in India. That one, it felt like so forced agenda, and I don't mean that in the way everyone always means forced agenda. I just mean you have no choice but to focus on the ramifications of this historical event. And I was afraid this was going to be a story. When I just saw a glimpse of the teaser, I thought, oh boy, here comes like another lesson on a different culture. Not that there's anything wrong with lessons on different cultures. It's just when it feels preachy, it feels weird to me. But it wasn't that. It was just in the setting of Nigeria. And so I actually found it interesting and pleasant. To me, it was more in the spirit of, in a roundabout way, the old classic spirit going back to the origin of the show, which is, it's, let's do an episode and you'll learn something from history, again, without like some crazy pay attention to this and see how this makes you think about modern times, like a preachy agenda. Just here it is. And I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I liked almost all the actors, all the performances, pretty much. The actor who played the original owner or barber of the barbershop, the man who told the first story at the very beginning, that actor was in Andor season 1. I don't know him from anything else, but he was awesome in that. He's awesome in this. The actor's name is Sul Remy. It was cool. Of course, isn't Ncuti like Scottish Nigerian?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, don't want to mess that up. And then I thought it was going to be a companion light episode, but Belinda gets in on it. It was just nice and interesting and different, and there was nothing in this episode offended my brain in the sense that there was weird writing decisions in the previous 2 stories that just weren't pleasing or illogical or whatever. This, I just watched. It was fine. It was interesting. It's just, it was like, okay, I'd rather have this. I mean, it doesn't have to like blow me away, but I'd rather have this.
I can agree with all of that. Pretty much. That's how I felt as well.
Any thoughts of the other cameo besides Little Poppy?
Oh, the Fugitive Doctor. I don't know. Yeah, that's great. They knew each other. So that's sort of almost like RTD validating what's his name's extra doctor.
I think it's going to go beyond that, by the way, eventually. But so one thing I wanted to ask you guys about in regards to that, and I'm glad you brought up the Fugitive Doctor. I thought the Doctor doesn't remember anything about the Fugitive Doctor, like what the Fugitive Doctor did and so on. When did that memory come back?
I couldn't even.
I feel like I'm not qualified to answer this question.
Yeah, I have no freaking idea. If you set me up in a trap like in that movie Saw, and told me I'm fucking dead. I couldn't even guess. You always complain about Chibnall's era. Let's see what you really know.
No, but I'm only.
Okay, look, I forgot that the Doctor forgot until you reminded me, but let me go with it.
Okay.
So, was it that the Doctor remembered, when face to face with the Fugitive Doctor, or was it, I don't know who you are, but I can get that you must be me? You see what I'm saying?
Dude, when they were face to face, she was like, who the hell are you? I don't remember you.
Okay, so she doesn't remember him, but he remembers her, is what you're saying.
No, I'm talking about Jodie and her when they first met. Remember when she said, I'm the Doctor? And she's like, huh? What? I don't...
Oh, okay. I know. Okay, fine. Yes, I got you.
Like, she has no memory of that time.
And neither do I.
Well, wait. Does Jodie have memory now? Or does her memory get erased after that?
Jodie is no longer the Doctor. I don't know if you noticed.
I know that, but I'm saying if she had the memory, then Ncuti would have the memory.
Well, that's the thing, is that's unclear because like it felt like she just accepted the fact that she was the doctor, that this fugitive person was the doctor. She just kind of accepted it, but there was no memory of it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, we don't know where this is happening in anyone's timeline.
All I'm saying is that for whatever reason, the Anansi's daughter or whatever. And by the way, I when I was a kid, I heard the story of Anansi. That's so weird. That Anansi's daughter was promised the doctor, who was the fugitive doctor, and that's how somehow she remembered that was like, it had to have been thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, this whole memory thing is just, it's, that whole thing was way off. Like, I didn't understand that. It felt very wedged in order in order to bring back the fugitive doctor, and then eventually later bringing, the Poppy thing. I mean, all of this is all aimed at really making old time fans pissed off. I can feel it coming. It's like, I can feel it. I can feel it coming. It's gonna be explosive.
Do you have any ideas how it's going to piss off old fans?
Let's talk in next week's episode.
Okay, we will do that.
After we talk about the certain cameo that occurred in that one.
Okay. I liked the idea of the Nexus and the spider.
Why?
The concept of it.
Why? I mean, what about the spider means anything to the story?
Because, well, it's almost not even the story. Well, okay, I like this. This reminds me of things I used to like when I was reading young kid novels when I was like pre-K kinder age, and I was heavily into Roald Dahl stories, especially like The Glass Elevator, the sequel to Willy Wonka, and James and the Giant Peach. And this idea of stepping into the barber shop and being teleported to a facsimile of the shop that's on top of a spider's back, that is powered by stories, like that felt like something out of a Roald Dahl book to me. And it's something that if I would have read about it when I was a kid, I'd just be like, oh, that's so fascinating. But as an adult thinking about it, it's this idea, the idea, the concept of the Nexus and the spider. It's like a huge metaphor for how storytelling is in like human civilization, and how sorry, this is going to sound weirdly heady. It's the edibles talking, but
Jesus Christ.
Before there was media, before there was writing, the only way things got passed down was by telling stories. And there's this idea, especially before technology, that was literally the only way, like, the past could communicate with the future and things could progress and have a beginning and have an end, was by storytelling. So the whole spider thing is like a metaphor of going back to the dawn of speech and understanding, and people telling stories, and those tales like moving on, continuing, traveling. Like, it's like the only form of terrestrial human immortality. And so, just again, this is all conceptual stuff, but that's what I found interesting. It wasn't the story itself or what happened, but it's like I could imagine it. It was a way to visualize the way stories have traveled through history in the real world.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's fascinating. That was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
That's pretty far out, man.
I mean, that's fine, I suppose. But I'm kind of with Sean on this one. Like, anybody remember the Idiot's Lantern?
This is not the Idiot's Lantern.
It's kind of the equivalent to me. Like, I just don't have any care to remember.
No, it's not that to me.
Or the one I thought of, the one with the turtle and the
The turtle.
Yeah, it was like the second Matt Smith episode. The Beast Below?
Oh, the Beast Below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like The Beast Below, but wait, those are like the two with Magpie Electronics. Like, is that a weird coincidence?
Oh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, look at that. Strange. Vote Saxon.
Beast Below not the greatest. I happen to like it. Idiot's Lantern, this was not that. Because this episode, like, again, I liked it. It wasn't like super amazing, but I liked it. I like Belinda and the Doctor's outfits in this episode. I don't know.
What about the fact that before they emerge from the TARDIS, the Doctor brings up the question, or not the question, but the issue of the color of his skin and how he enjoys being somewhere where you're just accepted as one of them because you look the same.
Do you know what? Like, this is the other thing. Like, let's just say he does remember being the fugitive Doctor. Like, if he did remember being the fugitive Doctor, he would know what it's like to have dark skin. Right? Like, it.
Okay.
Well, he didn't say that this form was his only form.
No, but he says, I think he did say, like, this is the first time I've been in this.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, but also he doesn't remember like his timeless child days either, right? And he went through like multiple genders and races. So we were told from whatever episode that was during the Chibnall years. But no, still though, I think it's actually an interesting question, though, the original question, because I see what they're trying to say, and I also don't know. I have a feeling they're not just talking about race or skin color within the Doctor Who universe of the story. Because I felt like it was kind of a comment, and I think it's meant to be a comment on Time Lords in general within the universe, within the story.
I don't know. It got confusing for me at this
Yeah.
point. You know, it got really confusing. Like, I get it.
I mean, for the audience and agenda-wise, for viewers, it's certainly talking about that, about, feeling comfortable about people who look like you. But I feel like within the story, the intent is more to talk about the Doctor being alone in his species, more than it's about. It's there to do both jobs, for people in the audience to really go, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And also, I think it has to do in universe with the Doctor sort of being the last Time Lord, a twofer, if you will.
It just, it feels like it's setting up something, and so I don't know.
And then the God thing. I think that's the last thing we need to talk about.
Yeah. So again, we're talking about a God thing, but and like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I don't get the whole haircut thing. Why it's a barber?
I don't either.
Why? I mean, I understand, like, a barber's a place where people tell stories. I got it. But you could easily do that in a bar.
Yeah, but in the bar, it would be like, I mean, you could, you're right. But then they would do something where, oh, I'll leave after I finish my drink. And then as soon as you finish it, it refills again.
And they talk about this. They say how, their ideas evolved over time. First they were a pub, then they were a church basement, then didn't they do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And again, it's because it ties into the idea of storytelling. I think something about the hair growing and then being cut again is, again, like a human lifespan, like it just repeating over and over. And then, of course, I thought it was interesting because I had never heard that thing before about putting stories into the braids. And I actually thought that was interesting. I had never heard that story in history before.
And the other thing is, like, you wouldn't have been able to do that with a white person's hair, like put the maze that they did with the Doctor's hair and stuff like that. They wouldn't have been able to necessarily do that with a white person's hair, I guess. Anyway, like,
I don't think so. No,
I think there was, like, I mean, there's some really good ideas here. I just think, I feel like right after the story's over, it just feels kind of forgettable. But I understand. I get it. And it was some interesting ideas here. I'm not going to dismiss the ideas. It was kind of unusual and kind of different. which I appreciate. But like at the end of the day, like who is actually in danger here? Like nobody, really.
Well, potentially, but yeah, okay, so everyone lives.
Hey, I like that, I think I thought about that too, and for some reason I thought like the fabric of time and space is in danger or some shit if this story machine gets out of control. There was something like that.
Yeah, if he accomplished his mission, I can't remember, but something bad will come of that.
I would have been pleased if he could just save the barbershop with the 4 or 5 people. That
Yes, I agree too.
I think those are good stakes for me.
Yeah, same.
They do this again in the next story, and I'm like, geez, come on. But yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
But yeah, I mean, I actually like it a little bit more after this discussion for whatever reason. But is there anything else anyone wants to hit upon before we rate it?
Why was Poppy there?
I will find out in some horrible twist.
There's a big theory running around the Doctor Who internets.
I mean, do we really want to get into Reddit thoughts on this?
Okay, if you don't want to hear I don't know when this is going to release. Maybe someone hasn't watched all of season 2 of Disney Doctor Who. I'm just giving a I'm sure you guys don't care. I'm just giving a spoiler warning for potential listeners because I don't know when this releases or if people will be listening to this before they see the whole entire season. So spoiler warning was given. Anyway, I don't think I need to get into the weeds about it. I had heard that there was a theory going around, and I finally just looked it up real quick before this discussion, just so I could.
I mean, is she the Doctor? Is she, the little girl that they found? Like I've heard that.
Don't know, but it certainly could tie into the whole timeless child thing.
Mm-hmm.
The theory revolves around, that was all part of, and this is spoiler for next episode as well. It's all part of the Ronnie's plan or plot that she's been working on since the first Ncuti Gatwa season, and that the whole baby program had something to do with the Ronnie and her experiments. And basically what this is all going toward, according to the theory, it seems like the Ronnie is trying to bring back the Time Lord race, and that may be the connecting thing to all these different things that we've been seeing in multiple episodes and by generation and all this kind of stuff that the Ronnie's trying to figure out how to resurrect the Time Lords. So in a nutshell, that's
all right. That's fine. I'm not sure that she needs the Doctor to do that, but okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and that's part of the theory. She needs the Doctor to do that,
right? And I don't know why. I mean, there's plenty of doctors to go around. Like this, there's freaking hundreds of them now, as far as I know. The other thing is that's very interesting, or maybe not interesting. Or maybe I'll bring it up next week with next week's episode. I just the bi-generation thing, the Mavity thing, all this stuff, kind of coming together with this reality war in the last episode. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of messing with reality going on, or the way we see reality.
And maybe that's intentional.
Maybe it's intentional. And, but again, like, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff to chew on, because it seems that, and from what I've read, like, this is one big story from the time that Jodie regenerated into David Tennant. Like, this is one big story.
Yeah, I could see that. And right now, with this theory and blah, 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 I don't have any opinion right now. Like, I'm not jazzed about it. I'm not upset about it. We'll see how it plays out. But I was going to say something else about that. But I will repeat what I've said multiple times already this season too, is that the storytelling in general feels like so the Doctor by generation, splits. There was like an anti by generation regeneration where Moffat and RTD became one showrunner, because everything about this season and to an extent last season feels like RT Offit has been the showrunner.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel so many elements of RTD and of Moffat's cockamamie storytelling and jigsaw puzzling. It feels like the showrunners have been mashed into the same person. And that's just the overall vibe I've gotten.
All right. I mean, that's the...
Do you think it's like Demi Moore and the Substance, like near the end, where they're like mashed together and they're like...
Yes, and eventually all their teeth are going to fall and they're going to explode. Spoiler.
And they're writing while they're doing this?
Yeah, no, but yeah, but that's the vibe. That's the vibe, because it feels like both of them are running the show.
I think you're giving it too much credit.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's almost like a kitchen sink situation, but that's just the vibe I've been getting the whole time. Like,
oh, there's going to be a kitchen sink. I'm convinced we're going to get the full kitchen sink here, and frankly, it's going to be like most of RTD's like final episodes,
which I generally, I don't like. That's been discussed ad nauseum.
I mean, this is going to be like Deus Ex Machina times 40. I mean, it's going to be like, that's what he was well known for.
Yes.
Basically, let's destroy the universe, okay? But we'll back it out.
Yeah,
it's going to be something like that.
That's why I think there may be some credence to maybe everything since Tenet or the Bi-Generation, either way, since he returned or the Bi-Generation, that like everything, because of the Mavity terminology, the
Mavity thing is going to get resolved.
It makes it seem like everything since that moment, like Donna set it off unwillfully, it feels like everything has been in a pocket universe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the ultimate reset, and the robot revolution, that lends itself to this whole, like, none of this is supposed to be happening. It's like the episode Turn Left, except expanded like throughout 2 seasons and specials.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that is totally the RTD way to set up. He's doing the left turn episode, Turn Left, but he's doing long game, Turn Left.
Yeah, so not the long game, but long game.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I understand what you're saying. So, like, Wild Blue Yonder becomes like the catapult to this whole thing with the salt and everything else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Anyway,
it makes sense. And again, I'm not happy about it. I'm not sad about it. I'll just let it play out.
Let's rate this episode.
Sure, why not?
I don't know. Scissors? I have no idea.
Scissor? Oh, okay, yeah, barber shop.
Yeah, because it cut the hair. Oh.
Well, not the scissors. You got to get one of those, like, tiki buzzers. What do you call them? What do you call the thing the barber uses?
The razor, the electric razor,
like
the buzzer.
They call them like shears or something in England, but what do they call them in America?
I mean, they're called shears here too.
Oh, okay. So the shears. How many tiki shears out of 5?
Oh, that was cool. That was actually pretty cool. I was like, where did they get that?
Yeah, if you go on websites like Temu and stuff like that, they'll sell like beard trimmers, and they'll have these ridiculously blinged out handles and like.
Yeah, they come with ball trimmers too. Anyway, never mind.
Yes, you have the guard. Yes, especially. Hey, it's a godsend, if you will.
Okay, all right.
I've got one. I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah, especially if you got a thicket down there. Razor bumps are an issue. You don't want to nick your sack.
On Temu, it is probably $1. So that.
Yeah, but they look like MTV Pimp My Ride, except for beard trimmers.
No, seriously, and you're like, I want to get my scrotum as smooth as a babe's butt. You totally can do that. You're not going to tear up your scrotum and get blood everywhere. It's totally fine.
Yep, the days of waxing.
We're using the regular razor.
The days of waxing the huevos is over.
So, listeners, you can get it now in 2 easy payments of $2.99.
Click the link in the show notes.
Eric, we're like sponsored now. This is so cool.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Harry's Razors.
No, I think it was...
No, Manscaped.
Yeah, Manscaping.
Yeah.
It's like, Manscaped.
Although I do have a Harry subscription, too.
You have a what?
Harry's subscription.
I thought you said a Harry subscription.
Well, I kind of did. A Harry. Oh,
So
I see what you.
Harry Sullivanscape. Harry Sullivanscape.
Okay.
Is our new company.
Oh God.
But it's not man or womanscape. Let's keep it modern.
All right. So how many whatever you said, Tiki
Shears.
Tiki Barber's a football player, but anyway, was a football player, not a football player anymore.
Right. Tiki Shears out of 5. Josh.
Okay, I'll go first because I don't really care. I'll give it 3 Tiki Shears because I think it was pretty good. Like the story was
Nice.
interesting. It was like it was not normal kind of Doctor Who. It was kind of weird. I mean, I didn't like the whole setup and everything like that. Is kind of just what I would expect out of this series, but beyond that, it was kind of interesting. Did something new. I don't think I'm going to run back to watch it again too quickly. But then again, I could say that for every episode I've probably seen for the last 3 years. So, yeah, 3.
That's very fair. I want to give it 3.5, but disclaimer, I'm grading on a curve because if this was like series 5 of New Who, then I would probably score it lower. But I'm scoring on a curve because of especially how much I did not like the last 2 episodes. Like any relief from that, I'm giving it an extra half a shear. So 3.5 Tiki Shears for me.
I'm mostly on the same page with Josh, but he said he doesn't care. I'm like, I just can't care. Couldn't care. I'm done caring about what happens and how it all winds up. But that doesn't mean this episode totally sucks. Yeah, so 3 out of 5 for me.
All right. Well, stay tuned to the most positive, explicit Doctor Who podcast out there on the interwebs. Tweet me if I'm wrong and tell me what you think is. But until then, stay tuned. I'm sure we're also riveted in the podcast sphere, waiting to hear more discussions of the rest of this season.
I
don't know whether that happened.
I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm a little hyper.
It's very James Bond. But closing out the show today, this is Eric.
This is Josh.
And this is Sean.
And until next time...
Even if you're in your barbershop and you can't get out the door...
And you have a flaky, crispy, crunchy crust. No.
What? What are you talking about?
I got that reference. I got it.
Buttery crust.
Buttery, creamy, crunchy crust. Don't panic.
Don't panic. So this is the thing from like the 90s, I think. Somebody showed the outtakes from some, old country diner, and they've got this old couple and they're trying to film them, doing, talking about the restaurant and how the guy likes, I think it's chicken pot pie, and he's supposed to say it's got a buttery, creamy, tasty, crunchy crust or something like, and he can't do it. And they're doing it over and over. And eventually she's like, Dave, I can do it. And then she can't do it. And then once you watch this, you go to Saturday Night Live and watch, who was it? Who's the lesbian with the big mouth?
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon and Will Ferrell do it. Oh my God.
No, it wasn't Will Ferrell. Was it Will Ferrell?
It was Will Ferrell, yeah.
It was the crispy, and it comes from something real, like this real thing.
Well, that's what Sean was just saying.
Yeah.
It's a flaky, buttery, crusty crunch.
He couldn't get it right.